Hello everyone, I am here with a tarot reading for you for whatever moment, day, or time you are in, whatever sign you are, whatever day this is, as long as you are here and feel drawn to watch this reading. This will be like an energy forecast reading. I'll bring forward some guidance and insight. So as long as you feel drawn to it, there will be a message here for you. So I'm going to jump right in. We're not going to waste any time chatting and catching up. We're just going to do the reading and see what is coming up in this moment, okay? So let's tune into the energy right now. What is coming up? What is going on? Okay, we have justice coming through first, which I often see as a call for you to step back and surrender to the way that things are meant to be. And that may not be what you want it to be. It may not be what you think it's going to look like, right? It's usually that you are trying to force, control, or manipulate something that you aren't meant to have control over, right? And so an encouragement to surrender, the sun is like shining through right now, to the way things are, and trust that they will work themselves out even if you don't have a hand in working it out, right? We also have the Five of Pentacles, which is a bit of a scarcity or poverty mentality, a bit of an attachment to hardship or isolation. With that, we have the Empress card, so stepping into creativity, warmth, and relaxation. So I feel a shift here in letting go of control. You can't see this at all, whatever. And letting go of control over this thing that's taking a lot of your time and energy, this thing that you are trying to push into place that isn't really your responsibility, and letting that go and surrendering, it's going to like open up so much more space for you, and you are going to be able to enjoy this sense of freedom in a new way, like more than you have in a long time, right? We're shifting from just feeling like this constant struggle or hardship into feeling more abundance and more opportunity for joy and creativity and flow, right? So it's time to step into the flow and stop trying to push against the grain or charge upstream here. If something that you've been trying to force just isn't working out, and at this point you're just exhausted or depleted, maybe consider that it's not your responsibility to figure it out, and trust that things will work out the way that they are meant to. So how can we best flow with and work with this energy, this encouragement to surrender to the flow, this shift from hardship into abundance, from scarcity into creativity? How can we let go, right? How can we best flow with and work with this? Okay. We have the Knight of Pentacles, which is often a long journey ahead that's going to require a lot of patience, persistence, dedication, commitment, right? Discipline. And so it's to know that it's not necessarily going to be easy just to let something go. And it's okay. It's not going to be a straight path. It's going to be a winding path. It's going to feel sometimes like 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. And that's okay. That's part of the process. And you're still making progress, even when sometimes you fall back a little bit. So be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the process. Don't give up on yourself. Don't get discouraged, right? Like when we have been so fixated on something for so long, it's hard to just be like, okay, I'm done, right? I'm letting this go. So you might fall back into it sometimes. It might be a little bit of a push and pull situation. But what's going to happen, we have the Ace of Wands and the Judgment card, is that there's going to be a bit of space for some new inspiration or some new situation or opportunity to kind of take root. And eventually it's going to get so big that it's going to push out that other thing, and it's not going to seem as important anymore. So that's going to take time, but in committing to letting go of this thing that isn't your responsibility, letting go of this thing that isn't yours to control, even if there's still a bit of push and pull, even if it takes you a while to kind of get out of the mud here, you're making enough space for something new to take root. And in time, that is going to become the most important thing, right? That is going to fill you up, and it's going to push out the other stuff, right? We have the Judgment card, which is transformation. It's stepping more deeply into your true self. It's becoming more of who you are. There's also a sense here of prioritizing yourself, your own needs, right? And so this could have something to do with, helping other people too much, or trying to do things for other people, trying to control a situation for somebody else when it's really not on you to do that. So next we're going to look at your focus for this moment, something you can pick to put your energy and intention into. This is something that you will have more control over, you could have more control over, and I just like to pull some cards for this because it's nice to feel like we have some control, right? So where are you encouraged to put your focus right now? I'll show you that card in a second, and then you'll know why I'm snorting. Okay, we have the Eight of Cups. That was where I was snorting, because the Eight of Cups is all about letting go of emotional responsibility that you've taken on that doesn't belong to you, right? And so it's releasing emotional baggage that weighs on you that isn't really yours. Coming to an understanding of what really belongs to you and what doesn't, and coming to a place of acceptance and peace over that so that you can move forward into the light and into a new journey that is your journey, right? So that's where the focus is right now. And we also have the Two of Pentacles, which is finding balance in the midst of what can feel like kind of rocky waters, right? And a lot of this has to do with mindset with the Two of Pentacles, with how you approach things, right? Are you going to approach what is a heavy and hard task with pessimism, with feeling like it's not going to work out? Or are you going to try to approach it with a more optimistic outlook, seeing the bright light of the door in front of you, seeing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel? That's really going to help you to manage this and to walk through this more successfully, right? If you have more of an optimistic outlook, and if you remember why you are doing this. You're doing this for yourself so that you can let go of burden that isn't yours. And so that you can plant a new seed that can end up being your priority and end up being your focus, and have it be something that's really meaningful for you and something that really does belong to you. So being optimistic isn't always easy. Maybe you come up with some really great affirmations that you can practice when you find yourself slipping into a place of pessimism, right? Or maybe you can just come up with some really simple, small practices that you can do throughout your day that raise your energy and make you feel good and make these things easier to manage, right? Like non-negotiable things that you always do for yourself to put yourself in a good headspace. So next we are going to take a look at where your focus should not be right now. So this is something that may come in to distract you, take you off of your true path and away from your focus. There's always stuff that comes in that we think needs our attention, but doesn't really. And based on this reading, I feel like you probably do get distracted by things that aren't really yours to take on. So let's see what's coming up or potentially coming up that doesn't need your focus, okay? Okie dokie. We have 2 10s. So we have 10 of Cups reversed, which to me is like, you don't need to do everything for everyone else, right? It's reshifting the focus onto the self, what you need, what you desire, what is best for you, and learning to find a balance between what you give to others versus what you give to yourself. We also have the 10 of Wands, which again is a card of burden and taking on a lot of burden without trying to delegate or let things go, right? Letting things become too heavy. So you just want to make sure that you constantly are recentering on the self. We have the Chariot here, which actually to me, when I saw this, what I felt like immediately was like trying to move through this too quickly. And it takes me back to that Knight of Pentacles advice that came through, right? Which is to be patient with this process, that it's going to be a bit of a push and a pull, and that you may have days where you feel really fired up and like you can take on the world and you can do everything, and you can prioritize yourself, and you can make changes overnight and you can let things go, and that's great. But you're also going to have days where you slip back into old habits, and you need to be forgiving and gracious with yourself in those moments and let yourself gently recenter, right? When you are able to. It's about having an awareness and coming back to center and letting it be part of the process without being too hard on yourself, okay? So lastly, we have our lesson. What is this teaching us? Why is this coming up? What is this all about? What is the lesson here? What is the lesson here? Okay. Star reverse, and what I heard was you deserve healing. You deserve respite. You deserve to reach the light at the end of the tunnel. And so there's a need to shift your mindset around some of that. Like, why are you holding yourself back from replenishment, from rest, from healing? Is there a part of you that feels like you don't deserve that, or that you just like will never access it? So why bother, right? So it's opening up to the idea that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel, that you could have peace, that you could have joy, that you could have a life where you are the main character, right? That you are at the center. We also have the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords. And this is the idea that there's still more for you to learn out there, and that there's still more growth for you, right? When I see the Hierophant, it's like an invitation to get closer to your higher purpose. And so this is a big lesson, right? This is a big invitation for you. To shift some mindset stuff, to let go of some stuff that doesn't belong to you, and in doing that, get closer to who you really are, step more deeply into yourself, and find clarity, Ace of Swords, clarity around what your truth is and what you want to say to the world, and what maybe you want to say to others too. So, you're deserving of healing. And the lesson here is really about understanding that and stepping more deeply into your own truth and how you might want to express that out into the world. I hope this reading helped somebody today, and I'm sending you all lots of love. Comment if this resonates.